my takeaway from it is this. I mean, like, I'm not trying to be negative or I guess I am being negative, but I'm not trying to be a hater, but I'll never pay for another Mayweather fight, and I'll never pay for another Logan Paul fight for the rest of my life. No, they would not Mayweather in any way, because there's just no way he's going to do anything spectacular from this point on. Though he did great in the fight. He looked fantastic for 44 years old. I will say that. But it's just he's looking for money now. He's looking for paydays and being an entertainer. And he just carried Logan the entire time. And then Logan, because Logan would have to do something substantial. I mean, he was absolutely, completely gassed out to where he couldn't even stand. He had to hang on the ropes after the third round. And this is boxing. Mind you, these are 3-minute rounds. And all he did was punch. Mayweather didn't even throw a punch. Like, he threw a couple punches. You can count on one hand how many punches he threw in the first few rounds. Like, you can tell he was trying to get him tired, let him punch himself out. And I was hoping he was doing that to try to knock him out later on. And we get this vicious knockout when Logan's tired. He wore Logan out. Logan got tired, exhausted. I mean, he was just completely exhausted from punching himself out. I think his percentage of landed punches was less than 20%. It was something like 17% or something like that.
Oh my God.
I mean, I've never seen in a boxing fight someone hit air so many times. But when Logan got tired, Mayweather didn't step it up. And the thing was, Mayweather didn't. To me, the reason I'm saying I would never pay for another Mayweather fight is because this was his opportunity to step it up. I mean, Logan was trying to knock his head off a couple times. It wasn't like an agreement where it's like, okay, guy, let's not knock each other out kind of thing. He did throw for the cheap seats and just missed. But Floyd wasn't even tired at the end of the fight. And I felt like for the money that he made and for the money we paid, he should have put in more work. You know what I mean? Like, he should have been more tired. He should have went after it a little bit more. He should have picked it up. And he's just making easy money right now. And he's a businessman, but he just ruined his career, I think, right now in this fight, because I don't think there's anyone out there he can fight that's going to be interesting enough that's going to make anyone pay for a Mayweather fight. He's 44 years old. He didn't put any effort into it. And if you're not going to go out there and make this kind of money and put any effort at all into it, when there's guys, as you know, on a lower level in MMA and in boxing that are fighting their hearts out, you know, in blood, sweat, and tears for no amount of money or for very little amount of money, it's like, it makes you just not want to support someone like that again, you know. Logan's basically going to live on the whole, I survived 8 rounds with the best boxer in the world. He's going to live on that and claim it as a victory and think he's better than he is. He's not. He's not a good boxer. I mean, he's just not. His hands were down the entire time. I mean, he should have been knocked out 50 times over again. Like, the whole last half of the fight, he didn't even put his hands up at all, like at all, to block a single punch. Like, it was just, he just hung on top of Floyd, trying to tie him up. And it was just, he's not a good boxer. And I don't think he has the potential, to be honest. I think Jake has more potential. But I think Jake's going to be in the same predicament because these guys do train hard together. And he got tired really, really fast. And this is what I was saying about the Askren fight. If Askren could have fought longer, Jake was going to have to see what it's like to be a fighter and actually fight and dig deep and realize that you're going to get a lot more tired in a fight than you are sparring and than you are in the ring. And that didn't happen. He's never had a fight push him to the limits where he fought a real fighter who could, I mean, Ben is a real fighter, but not a real striker. And Logan did, and it showed. It showed that you get tired really, really fast. And if he gets tired like that against Tyron, it's going to be a short night for him.
Well, I can tell you as an amateur boxer, that's right. I've been training, Mikey.
Yeah.
It is exhausting. Or now you're a pro, okay? And a lot of people watching, I think, are probably more like me than like you, right? And maybe have dabbled, right? And I can tell you that it is the burning sensation that comes from, you know, like, first probably 3 rounds I'm okay, but then after that I start to really feel it, and you know, it's a lot. And so I don't know how long Logan's been training for, but I'm not surprised that he was gassed. And I was like, did you see the stats on like the differences between them? I mean, obviously there's a huge age difference, but they couldn't be more different. Okay, so 44 years old to 26 years old,
right.
A record of 50-0 versus 0-1. Mayweather's got 27 knockouts. He's 5'8". Logan's 6'2". Reach is 4 inches apart, but 35 pounds apart. This was not a good match, right? And I kind of agree. Like you said, that Mayweather's career is over. just because I think it's over. If it's over, it's more likely that it's over because he picked, and not to be disrespectful, but kind of like the lowest you can pick. He didn't pick an athlete. He picked a YouTube star. You know what I mean? So like how is anyone above Logan going to want to take that seriously? I don't know. But then again, he is Mayweather. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that would want to go up against him. But he did acknowledge that this was about the money for him in one form or another, because he's like, oh, I already made my money in publicity leading up to this point before the fight. So,
I mean, now I see why these guys are boxing. I mean, like, you know, boxing 3-minute rounds, you know, he's getting tired in 2 rounds, 3 rounds, you know, that's 3 minutes. I mean, 4 or 6 minutes, you know, 6 minutes, 9 minutes, you're exhausted from just punching only. Like, there's a reason these guys aren't doing MMA. Like, you know, you go out there for 5 straight minutes, it's a whole different ball game. You know, when you're wrestling, grappling, kicking, punching, kneeing, elbows, you know, clinching, everything else for 5 straight minutes without a break. Logan would have been dead, and he couldn't have made it out for the second round with his conditioning. So that's where I'm saying his conditioning is out there. And I think Mayweather put it good at the very end of the fight. He said he's good. You know, he gave him credit, which of course he made a lot of money. He's going to give the guy credit, and he's going to do, you know, make it sound good for Logan because, you know, Logan looked horrible. But at the same time, you know, he said that, you know, yeah, he has potential, but not against guys his size. And that's true. And so he would have to lose a significant amount of weight and train significantly harder because, I mean, a boxer getting tired in 2 or 3 rounds at 3 minutes is crazy. That's so unathletic. And he's going to, like I said, he's going to hold this as a victory for himself. And for a YouTuber, absolutely all the respect in the world for getting in there and fighting with Mayweather and even getting in there and taking those punches and fighting. But if he in the realm of him trying to say he's a boxer and he's taking it serious and, you know, he's an athlete and he's good enough to train and fight with the best of them, he's far off from that. You know, he would have to make significant changes, and I just don't think mentally he has it. He looked like he was going to, I mean, he's looked broken. I mean, to me, at the end, he showed off a little bit when he knew it was over and finished the fight trying to show off and showboat. But yeah, I hated that I paid for that.
And that's not a good look. That's never a good look to me. I mean, again, no disrespect, but I found it a little bit cringy seeing like all of the machismo and like just, you know, like I'm the shit kind of vibe. I'm like, you know, humble yourself a little bit. Yeah. I prefer, but that's just my vibe in general. Like I like people who are humble and work hard. And I have so much respect for just about everyone who's been on my show because they've been studying the craft and training their entire lives. And like, they've dedicated themselves to the sport. They're not, you know, coming up for the spotlight, acting like they're the best thing ever, you know?
Yeah. And the thing
is,
putting in the work, I mean. I wish Mayweather had humbled him. He didn't. He did, but he didn't, right? He humbled him because he looked horrible and he got picked apart and he looked like he had no business being in there. But for someone like Logan, who has so many yes men around him, he'll never see that. He'll never understand how bad his fight was. He will literally think his fight was great and they did good. And so I think he's going to get humbled very, very fast because what's going to happen is this is going to boost his confidence, and then he's going to fight somebody who is bigger and who's a little bit more dangerous than the guys he's been fighting because he just fought Floyd Mayweather, so his confidence is going to be at an all-time high, and then he's going to get punched by somebody his own size. And now we know Mayweather isn't known for strong punching. We know he's not known for, you know, these one-punch knockouts and power punching, and then he's fighting a guy 34 pounds bigger than him, more reach, and he was still connecting. But I mean, it's not shocking that he didn't knock him out in the first couple rounds, even though I think he very well could have if he pushed it in the later rounds. So I think it's only a matter of time till Logan gets humbled a little bit. It's not going to happen now. Jake Paul was on the side. And he was just saying that Logan was winning the whole time. You know, of course, he's so delusional, and I love seeing that because when he gets in there with Tyron and he sees what it's like to fight a real striker who has power and who has conditioning and he's going to be putting that same pressure that Floyd put, and it's a real fight. He's gonna feel the same way, and it's not gonna feel good. Except Tyron has power. Tyron can put you out fast. So anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. You have any more questions on Mayweather versus Floyd? I don't think there's much else to talk about. I just regret paying for it.
When you know ahead of time that there isn't going to be a winner,
yeah, that too.
That ruins it. Like you just paid $50 to see a play. You know, like I don't. Yeah. The fans want a definitive outcome. or a knockout, or so, you know what I mean? Like that kind of sucks.
Yeah, and then like there were knockouts. They allowed knockouts, so I figured that was a chance we were hoping for.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was no chance Logan was going to land anything significant on Mayweather. I mean, he was punching air like nobody's business. And again, Mayweather's 44 years old. So anyway, that's honestly all you can say about this fight. There's gonna be a lot of people pissed off that Floyd didn't put in more effort and try a little bit harder, because anybody with any knowledge whatsoever in their head about fighting knows that it was a just super easy fight for Floyd. Logan did horrible, and no matter what Logan says and his team and all the guys around him, it was a horrible fight. And it showed that he's nowhere near a level to fight anybody, even on an amateur level, that's a real boxer, that's his size, that's going to go out there and hit him as hard as he hits back.
Real quick with Mike Swick.